Wow, this whole 52-week challenge when it came to the quality of the movies I was watching pretty much took a nosedive, to be honest. Because when I started the 52-week film challenge, I started watching masterpieces like Gladiator and Paths to Glory. And then I went to Mad Max, and everything kind of just went downhill, except for a couple of exceptions. Hopefully, it does end up getting back on its feet, and I end up watching a lot better stuff. But yeah, let's just say this month I didn't start out with the best movies. So to start the month off, for week 9, I chose an independent film and I picked I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Oh boy, here we go. Now, I could do a 30-minute video as say why this film didn't work for me, but I still have other movies to talk about, but I still will explain why I don't like this film. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is sort of weird and interesting, but a little boring at the same time for the first half, and then after that, it's just plain boring. It felt like it was trying so hard to have a point with these preaching scenes, but it never conveys what it's trying to say through the story. Nothing that happens in this movie reflects onto what the themes are because almost nothing happens and it's over 2 hours. The car driving scenes are so dragged out, boring, and pointless. And my dad left and stopped watching the entire movie when we had 40 minutes left. The thing is, it isn't an awful movie. There are good things about it. The dialogue is great and real, and it's interesting how at times things were told through the main character's mind. But the ending product is so boring and pretentious, I have no interest in rewatching it. This will get a D. For week 10, I had to choose a family movie and I picked Over the Moon. This movie is pretty awful. You're probably wondering, Gavin, you gave it the same score as I'm Thinking of Ending Things. But the more I think about it, the more I just don't care about this movie. The animation considers just having bright colors as good animation when it just comes off as overly colored and distracting. And even when the bright colors aren't that bad, they just look like glow sticks. It has one of the dumbest plots in a Netflix movie that I've ever seen. Somehow this girl just on a whim is able to make a rocket that actually flies to outer space. What? It even looks like in the movie she was buying stuff from this world's version of Amazon. Because every normal store just happens to have space gear. And, like this guy named Chin, he's 8 years old, right? And he's like half a moon's height. So she's clearly like around like 12 or 13. So why does she think that this is just going to magically make her father think she should break up with this woman? She's supposed to be really intelligent, but thinks this is a good idea. Sometimes the animation can be really good, but this is definitely a flop. I will give it a D minus. For week 11, I had to pick a best original screenplay winner, and I chose Good Will Hunting. The gap of quality between this and Over the Moon is an embarrassment, and it is shocking that this is one of my favorite movies ever made. This is definitely my favorite performance from Matt Damon, as this man who is scared of the world, who pushes people away because of the abandonment he felt as a child, causing him to be stuck in one place for 20 years, and he executes this character to a phenomenal extent. It's a movie that tackles ideas about the real world and opportunities we have in life and who we want to be and figuring out what that is. It's a beautiful movie about life and what you want to be. And for that, it's one of the best films ever made that I will give an A. For week 12, I had to choose a controversial movie and I picked Freaks. Interestingly enough, the director of Dracula 1931 directed this movie as well. And while it isn't as great as Dracula, I can see how these movies would be directed by the same person, considering they're both very slow paced movies with powerful third acts. And yeah, this movie had that. The best part about this film is what it's trying to show. It's a cruel depiction of us as humans, showing us as terrible human beings that look down on others, that are different. And while this isn't always true, sometimes, yeah, this is very accurate to how society is, and the payoff in a way is satisfying. Also, I like how some of the characters, like Hans, who is someone that tries to open up to somebody and then regrets it immediately afterwards, or Fida that wants the best for Hans and knows she sees the person inside of him and Cleo doesn't. These characters are phenomenal. They give them these interesting arcs that maybe not phenomenal, but are very good arcs. And this is a pretty good movie actually. I do have some issues. First off, the villain's way too over the top, but I do think this is a good film that I'll give it a B.
So, guys, that's gonna be the video.